I drink your milkshake.
You are listening to the Billionaire Podcast Network.
What a fellowship, what a joy divine, leaning on the everlasting arms. What a blessedness, what a peace is mine, leaning on the everlasting arms. Leaning on Jesus, leaning on Jesus, safe and secure from all alarms. Leaning on Jesus, leaning on Jesus, leaning on the everlasting arms. Oh, how sweet to walk in this pilgrim way, leaning on the everlasting arms. Oh, how bright the path grows from day to day, leaning on the everlasting arms. Leaning on Jesus, leaning on Jesus, safe and secure from all alarms. Leaning on Jesus, leaning on Jesus, leaning on the everlasting arms. What have I to dread? What have I to fear? Leaning on the everlasting arms. I have blessed peace with my Lord so near, leaning on the everlasting arms. Leaning on Jesus, leaning on Jesus, safe and secure from all alarms. Leaning on Jesus, leaning on Jesus, leaning on the everlasting arms.
And go. Welcome everyone to be seated, my flock. Welcome. Welcome. This is the inaugural episode of the Blessed Backyard Bible Boys. Wait, hold on. What's the name of the show? The Blessed Backyard Boys Bible Banquet.
The Blessed Boys Bible Banquet.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was trying to fill it with as many B's as possible. So I was.
Well, you do have the Billionaire Podcast Network, so it could be the Billionaire Blessed Bible Boys Bible Podcast. Banquet.
The Blessed Billionaire Backyard Boys Bible Banquet. The sextuple B. So you welcome everybody to sextuple B, the Blessed Billionaire Backyard Boys Bible Banquet. With me, Dalton Pruitt, and I'm joined by a good friend of mine, another a member of the congregation, Jaime Gravy.
Hey, good to be here, man. Back in the church.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's been a while.
Only on the Billionaire Podcast Network. Ka-ching, bing, 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 D filler up. Yeah, this is gonna be good. This is gonna fill our hearts. We're gonna the Holy Spirit's gonna move through us today. But this is I do want to make it clear, because I think a lot of podcast fans out there are used to irony and mockery and things of that nature, and you and I both, I think, are coming at this from a pretty sincere place.
Yeah, because I was thinking about this too, and because you're right, especially as comedians, right? We're always, I feel supposed to take the known route of objection rather than coming at it from well, let's see what we can learn, So that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. I mean, because you and I, we're no strangers to the good book, but we're also no strangers to a life of fleshly desires. So,
well, that's, the book tells us that'll happen. That you'll lose your way, you'll stray from the path, and then find it again at some point. And so that's kind of what we're doing here is two men beaten and broken, scraped and bruised by life, who are crawling their way back to the Lord. And that's sort of the thesis of this show is
Yeah.
rediscovering grace.
Yeah. I mean, because, you, you look around for it and it doesn't seem to be elsewhere. So I don't know, let's see. Maybe, maybe we're onto something. Maybe it's the Quran. Who knows? But
No, dude, it's the Holy Bible is what it
yeah.
is. Look, we're a lot. We may be a lot of things, but one thing we're not is Muslim. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it's a it goes a little bit of a different route.
But yeah, we're going cover to cover. What version do you have? Because mine is this beautiful King James Oxford World's Classic.
With the
with what?
it doesn't have the what'd you call that? The
It's
apo-
it's all yeah. It also has the Apocrypha. I guess like
Apocrypha. Yeah.
for those that don't know, the Holy Bible, what you read in church, is the 66 books that were canonized by the Council of Nicaea. But there's other books from like that time, like the Book of Enoch and like all this other stuff that is like considered the Apocrypha that like the council, for whatever reason, I guess we should research that if I'm going to talk about it. But like for whatever reason, they decided that was not going to be part of the official like scripture, and so like this book also has like those books. But
Interesting.
the actual Holy Bible is the 66 books that the Council of Nicaea, like, when I guess when they got together and we're like, all right, so what is Christianity going to be, and that's
Yeah.
what they decided on.
Hey, well, I don't know, maybe a year from now when we're into the New Testament, it'll be fun to read those scriptures about not adding or subtracting to the word. And it's like, what's the word, and that's how that all gets started. You know what I mean? What a crazy, it's crazy how like long or how much the Bible's been through,
Yeah, I mean, and it's also like so many different, a lot of translations, and who knows what we're actually reading at this point.
Right.
But
Especially, yeah.
it endures. You hear those stories about like a family's trailer catching fire, but the one thing that survives is the Bible. You know, so
Sometimes Jesus shows up in a tortilla.
and they're always like,
So.
"What? It's a sign from God. It's a blessing." It's like, really, your house burned down.
Yeah, you have nowhere to live.
Yeah, you are in hell right now. I mean, thank Christ the Bible survived.
I mean, I think you can probably get one of those donated to you if you really needed it. But
You can take one from a motel. The motel you're gonna have to live in. Take the Bible from there.
Oh man, yeah, this is going to be interesting. So what's our plan here? Are we going to try to go through this in a year and read break
I
it
just
down the Bible
figured
into?
I figured we just go once a week and just go like chapter by chapter. It is like a cover to cover thing. I don't know if we could do that in a year, considering
No,
there's like
chapter to chapter would be probably like a decade.
maybe, yeah, I don't know. I mean today, yeah, I mean today we were just like, yeah, let's do Genesis 1 and see what that's like and go from there.
Yeah.
Um
No, I like this idea, and what a start
yeah,
to the book.
what a star. I mean, what yeah, that was what I wanted. And I forgot to set the ground rules for this show.
Oh.
No, we're not, no swearing. We're not no swear words on this show. This is a Christian show, and that's the only rule.
Have we broken that yet?
I don't know.
All right, well, hopefully not.
Yeah, but I wanted to, because mine is a King James. What translation do you have?
I got an old leatherback bendy one. It's nice, and of course got the little gold trim.
Ooh,
Gotta
yeah.
like that feature. It's a ESV, English Standard Version.
Okay.
The English Standard is actually very similar as far as the the terms it uses to, I guess, define from Greek and Hebrew. So it's very similar to King James. The only difference is it doesn't use the Old English as much. So it'll
Right.
use like words like maybe firmament or something like that, but it won't be doing like dosts and thous and these,
Yeah.
which
Speaking
I
of,
like.
I have to admit, as I was reading the chapter, and I know that I'm kind of well read and I should know words, but I genuinely was like, what is a firmament? Like, I
Dude,
don't know
no,
what.
firmament. I don't get firmament either. I had a well, actually, and actually the ESV it does use the word expanse, but like in other things, it was very similar to the King James. But actually, it uses expanse rather than firmament.
I think firmament is the separation between earth and heaven, maybe like a yeah. Okay, so the firmament is like the sky, the heavens. Okay, so
Well,
that's
and
what it is.
I almost think it means even like clouds versus water. I think it's a separation of water because
Well, what it
right is that or is that later?
let's get into so yeah, we're doing
All right, yeah,
Genesis chapter
we're
1.
already
This is the first.
yeah.
We're
It gets intense fast.
we're hung up on just how stupid we are. Just how, like, I don't know what this word means. But this is the first book of Moses, called Genesis. So it's the first book of the the Pentateuch, the Torah.
The Torah. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the first 5 books, this is actually a Jewish Bible study.
This is a
So
Jew. Yeah. So L'chaim and Mazel to all of our Hebrew brethren out there.
yeah. Oh,
Uh,
you know what's crazy? I always got asked in New York if I was Jewish. You know what I mean? About the
the
Hasidic
Hasi, yeah,
boys
it's
would come
for
and come up to you,
Sukkot.
and I always say no. And I've been asked that because of my nose. I just found out 3 days ago. It was my birthday about 3 days ago, right? My mom
Yeah.
tells me she's 11% Jewish according to her DNA.
Mm.
So I this whole time I had somewhere a little dash or a little.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, a schmidge.
A little schmutz, little schmutz of Judaism in you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they do that for a lot of people in New York because it's like one of the Jewish holidays. I think it's Sukkot, where they have like prayer huts that they construct, and they just try to grab people off the street to come and pray with them.
Mm.
And so I think that's like part of it is just running up to everybody and being like, "Are you Jewish?" And it's like a Chinese lady,
Hmm.
So
But but if you're not Jewish, they don't pray
they
with you.
just they're just like, "Oh, okay, well, bye." I guess that's
Yeah.
um
Hmm.
yeah, but so yeah, this is Genesis chapter 1, and this is the create chapter 1 covers the first 6 days of the creation of everything ever.
Yeah.
Uh
Yeah.
and
6 short days.
something that's immediately what stood out to me, and I get this comes from growing up in a church in the South. That's why I was asking you which version you had,
Hmm.
because I remember growing up that there was like so many people who um would talk about how, like, I can't do that King James, I don't understand it, it's too confusing. And as I was reading this, I was like, there's nothing about this that's indecipherable. I was like, this is not difficult to understand, even though it's using like, even though it's a King James Bible. I'm like, this is I get what they're saying. Like, I
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
understand the language. I don't understand like why people were like I gotta have an NIV Bible so I can
Yeah.
understand it.
Yeah, yeah. It's weird because I never got, some churches too, according to, in mine as well, because mine we got a little radical at moments as well, because it started as a Baptist church also, and they I remember times when they would actually be like, you got to be careful with certain translations, almost as if they were evil, getting into that whole taken away from it. And I remember thinking that was interesting. However, I don't necessarily know if it's evil, but there are some that I feel like are so loosely translated. It's strange. Like if you ever read like the Message, that one's almost just like,
I like the ones that was like kids skateboarding on the cover. It was like the teen, like remember the teen Bibles where it's like the
Oh yeah,
radical extreme Bible, and it's like a Capri Sun commercial on the cover of the Bible.
yeah, for sure. That's funny, man. It's weird because it didn't Kanye come out with a version of his? Did he come out with a translation?
Um,
Kanye West.
I don't know.
Yeah, the Bible. Ye, I think he called it. Like
Ye?
it's the Bible of Ye. Was that real?
I don't know. It sounds like something he would do. The Kanye West Bible.
Everywhere God, like he put ye everywhere with God. I don't know if it's actually true or not. I guess I should look that up.
Are you thinking of the album Yeezus? Is that
I thought he made a Bible.
I don't know. Maybe. But anyway, we'll look into that. We'll get that. We'll get that version. Yeah, but this is the creation of everything. Folks, I think we know how it starts. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So, what does that mean to you?
Dude, it's man. Oh man, dude, I have it's weird doing this one because like I still have a lot of like reverence for the Bible, but I've also tried to like be like, well, since we're starting this from scratch at the beginning, like I want to approach it like I've never I just want to approach it as is. There's no preacher with us today, you know what I mean, kind of thing. And so I just try to look at it like verbatim, like just like this is what it is, kind of deal. And I think it's just crazy that it like again that those statements are just immediately bold for the first words of the Bible.
Yeah, well, and what's interesting, I mean, we're like the interesting thing is it does make this distinction at first that like God created the heaven and the earth, but then if you go down a few verses, I think it's in verse 6. It says, and God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was I don't know what any of
Yeah.
let me make any sense.
Well, let me read mine because mine says expanse. It says, let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters. And God made the expanse and separated the waters that were under the expanse from the waters that were above the expanse.
I don't.
So pretty much the same thing.
Like
I think it means clouds. I think it means different kinds of water, like solid, liquid, gas. I think it was just like this all together thing. And he's like, we'll make it collect, and then we'll put some in the clouds, like in the heavens, because it comes down.
I think so. I like if I'm to interpret that, it's like to separate the waters from the waters. You have the sea, and that's the earth water, and then you have the clouds, and that's the sky water.
Yeah.
And so but then what's interesting is when you get to verse 8, it says, and God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. So like if you're interpreting this, if you're like trying to wrap your head around this, God, so there's no heaven. First off, at first it's just like void and without form. And so the first thing God creates before he even creates himself or a place to live for himself is earth. Like he's working like the earth, he's tooling around with the earth before he gets to the firmament, or the firmament and heaven. So like does, you know what I mean? Like when you get to verse 8, it's like God created heaven after he created the earth.
Well, I'm taking it a little different. I'm taking it like the heavens, because mine says God created the heavens and the earth in verse 1. And then down in verse 8 says he called the expanse heaven. And it is a capital H, which is weird. But up in the beginning, when it says God created the heavens and the earth, it's lowercase h in heavens. And so I'm like thinking like that maybe heavens just means sky, or maybe that means space. Even he made fucking space. Oops, there goes number one.
Oh my god! Should we say a prayer real quick? If we swear, we got to pray.
I'll do one of these.
Heavenly Father, please forgive Jamie for his transgressions. Amen.
But like, I'm thinking, like, what if he just made space first, and then the earth? So it's like space existed, because like I would think heaven is in a different realm.
You think it's like another universe or like another dimension?
Another dimension.
Okay. And so like what we're interpreting is like heaven, when they like old medieval people just looking up at the sky and being like the heavens.
The heavens. That's what I'm thinking. Because if he called the expanse heaven, because now he's separated water from sky water, and he's calling that sky water the heavens, the clouds. Like,
by the way, I love calling clouds sky water.
Yeah, it's just some sky water.
The sky water.
It's firmament.
Look at the firmament. That firmament looks like a poodle.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I never thought about it maybe being, but it does capitalize heaven in verse 8, so it makes it feel like that is actual heaven, like God.
Well, I like the idea of God like really working hard on Earth and then being like, "Oh man, I need a place to live."
Yeah, was he homeless?
Yeah, I can't live here. I need to create. I got to create heaven now. Yeah. Been so focused on my work, I forgot to make a home for myself.
Yeah.
So I guess
a wanderer.
Yeah, I guess I'll make heaven. But so everything starts with void. Like there's nothing, and we skipped over because verse 3. This is the famous one. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And this is one of my favorite lines. And God saw the light, that it was good. I like that. To the point, almost Hemingway in that sentence. And it was good. That's it. No further, no notes.
I thought about this too, because on the next one, he says, and God separated the light from the darkness. He called the light day, and darkness he called night. And then that's the day. So even though he does say that the light is good, he didn't say that the night was bad or evil. I think that's like maybe like interesting.
46 and 2 by Tool. That gets into what you're touching on is sort of like Jungian psychology, the light and the shadow self.
Right.
So something Jordan B. Peterson talks about, but I don't think he gets it right. But the idea of like there being like light and darkness, and it's not like they're in opposition of each other. They're both like intertwined. They both they exist simultaneously within all of us. Yeah, and you see it in with the earth itself. You got light, you got the day and the night, and they're both divine, created by God Himself. And so that that's kind of like like yin yang situation.
Exactly, a little bit. Yeah, that's what's so crazy about it. Because just think about these first sentences and just how dense all this is.
Yeah, it's
starting out.
It's honestly it's dense, and it's very like there's a lot of brevity in it for the creation of everything.
Yeah.
It's it's very matter of fact, and just like, okay, and then God created light itself. And that was good. And then he made the oceans, and it's
and clouds, apparently.
Clouds.
Clouds
Yeah,
and oceans.
yeah.
Well, really, it would just be an ocean was first, right? Because if we're jumping ahead a little bit to 9, if he's making land, well, that means before that, the earth was just a ball of water.
Well, that's what it says here. Verse 2 we touched on, where the earth was that without form and void, and the darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So I guess there was water. There's just
There was,
like a bunch of water.
but there's water. But yeah, but that's odd. But without shape. So how
But
does
life begins with water, so there's that.
so it's just there? But what did how if it's without shape or form? What does that look like?
I don't know.
You
I don't know.
Dang
Yeah,
it! I was hoping you had an answer.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's just a bunch of space water that he had
Just
to.
floating around.
Yeah, just water floating around in space, and then he had to, compress it and ball it up, and uh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's this isn't like science, this is faith, so it's yeah, it's a divine being creating everything, so it's
Creating
beyond it's
water.
yeah, it's beyond our understanding, and this is an attempt by Moses to allow us to receive the message, I guess, of like who God is and how He created everything, but we'll never understand it.
Yeah,
It's
because I guess he really is just trying to kind of get to he's trying to get to man, and almost that's maybe is why he's keeping it so brief. Because yeah, I mean you're chock full of questions by verse 2.
yes, by verse 2. Well, you're chock full of questions right off the bat, because I remember as a kid, like you read this, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, and the question always has been like, okay, well then what? I mean, if that's the beginning, then who like, so who created God? Like, what do you mean in the
Boom.
beginning? So
Yeah, immediately.
yeah, so it's already like dubious at first. That's why it's you got to have faith, because it's if we can only perceive everything linearly, and through the minds of man, and
Yeah,
this is the
mere
the
man.
divine, the celestial, so it's not for us to fully understand. That's why you have to read it and accept the message and have faith in it, even though it's so far beyond us, because yeah, none of this, the firmament divided the waters from the water above and under the water. Who can wrap their head around that?
Yeah, no kidding. And then two, we haven't even talked about verse 5,
Yeah,
meaning like in
god
its full depth.
god called the light day, and the darkness He called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day.
Now there's a day.
Yeah, so now we
So
have, and there's no mention of 24 hours or what that even entails.
yeah, but that
Yeah.
let there be light. So again with light? Do you think let there be light? Is he just saying? You think he's saying sun or just the concept of light?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like photons and
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know, man.
I
Yeah, I
know.
mean, maybe at the time that this was written, probably just like the sun. There was no other knowledge of like light, really. I mean, the sun and the stars and maybe fire.
Yeah.
That was light.
Well, he does call the moon one of the two great lights. He calls it the lesser light to govern over the night.
Yeah,
So they, of course, at that point, he's thinking that that's a light source, which
right.
makes sense.
We
But
know
I,
now
I guess,
the moon reflects the light of the sun. Is
yeah,
really how it works. It's just it's just a satellite. Uh,
yeah.
but
Uh, So
if you didn't know what the moon was, if you didn't know how it worked, you would
yeah,
think that it was its own light source for sure.
yeah.
Um, yeah. So then we get down to verse 10, or wait, well, yeah, verse 9, and God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that it was good. See, there you go. I mean, it's good. It's
good.
I like that. It's good.
I like that. We got some land over here, got some water over here. It's
just like
separate.
a dad working on his deck, just being like, "This is good."
It was good.
Thumbs up.
That's good work right there. Give me some lemonade real fast.
Yeah, yeah. Let me pop in for a Heineken after.
That's nice. Maybe get me a smoke.
Yeah. Yeah, let me have a Camel Crush after varnishing my deck all day. Yeah, that's sort of what God was like when he was creating the earth.
Nice.
When he
Nice.
yeah, on the seventh day, he finally got to sit in his lazy boy and have a cigarette and a
cold Bud Light.
Yeah, cold Bud Light and a cigarette, kick his feet up, watch the game.
I made a pretty cool universe. Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, Mrs. God comes in and is like, honey, what'd you do today? He's like, oh, I don't know. I just finished creating everything. did you create dinner maybe? Could you do that? Hey, you know, one of the things I created is called heat. It's in the oven. One of the things is in the
Oh, that's something we maybe Bill to touch on. Really, he in this chapter, he's creating time.
Yes, yeah,
as well.
There is the distinction of time, not night and day. The evening and the morning were the first day.
Well,
so he's
in the beginning, first line.
Yeah, because like and time. I suppose I reckon like time is for us. Like God exists kind of like outside of time, you know, because time for us is like a construct that we use to like measure things and life itself and cycles or whatever. But that would be for our minds to understand. You know, he's existed before and after everything, and during and for all time, you know, within and outside of it. So this you know, creating the light and dark, night and day, you know, that's for us to like measure things, and you know, that's our time, I suppose.
Yeah, because it doesn't say like in the beginning God was created. It just like God's already there at the beginning. So it's like, it's almost like he is by the creation of the heavens of earth starts time.
Yeah, and this is before, and this is like, and everything's operating on like solar and lunar cycles. You know, this is before there was any like subdivisions of time where it's like you know, year, month, day, week, you know, hour, minute, seconds. Because like now, you know, time now is actually like physics. It's like I think it's like they measure a second based on like a cesium atom. Like it's like there's some like physics place that has a like a cesium thing that they're looking at. That's how they measure a second.
What's a cesium? Is that like an element?
Yeah, cesium is an element. I don't know. I failed a physics class in college, but one of the things I remember was something to do with like how they actually measure a second. Like when you hear the words atomic clock, like what that's referencing is like the way an atom of cesium, like I don't know, it does something, but there is like there's scientists that are like subdividing time and keeping watch on it to make sure that time is still time.
Interesting, or that it's still matching up with like the rotations of the sun and the moon.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I'm not a physicist. I'm just a
Well, you bring up an interesting thought though about it, which is like, what is true time versus the time that was kind of thought about in relation to nature? Because in verse 14, God said, "Let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs, for seasons, and for days, and for years. And let them be lights in the expanse of the heavens to give light upon the earth." So that's interesting.
And it was so.
And it was so.
Yeah, I think I prefer that. I prefer God time, where it's like, let's not go splitting hairs here and trying to split an atom to figure out time. God already provided it for us.
We clearly have a night and a day. That's an easy method. I like that.
Yeah. And I wonder if people in Bible times actually did have any awareness of like age. You know what I mean? Like in the same way we do. Like we're like as the years go by, you go up an age, you go up a year, and one day you're 40, and you're like, man, what am I doing? I wonder if it was like that, in Bible times, or if everybody was like of the faith to some degree, and just were going by the sun and the moon and these cycles, and just accepted everything for what it was, and we're not like.
I mean, I don't know. I still think. The world we haven't gotten there yet, but very shortly, sin is about to be introduced in the fall of man, and then they start seeing. People saw that they were aging, and they saw death, so they knew time was of the essence, I think, as well. So
yeah, but were they aware? I wonder if they were aware of like. I think that like people know that they're aging, like they can feel the passage of time, but we have this like hyper awareness of it, where it's like we're divided into generations, and then there's like benchmarks you're supposed to hit at this age and that age, and every year that goes by, you're just like more and more, you feel the specter of death stalking ever closer. At this time, it would have, it seems like it'd be nice, where it's just like I'm not even concerned with like all that noise. It's like I got
well,
God.
especially if you didn't know of a lot of history. Like you're right, because we know a lot of history, right? We know that we have thousands and thousands of years of history to look back on, to see like great men, what people have accomplished, which has influenced culture and art and all these amazing things. When you think about the beginning of man, before there was a lot of history, they didn't have too much to think back on to be like, oh, all these greats to live up to. It was probably, maybe it was more of this idea of like exploration, and newness, and just kind of like, we'll just get as far as we get.
Yeah, there was no history at this point. This is literally the beginning.
Yeah.
So
that's a good perspective. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, I think about that a lot, because I saw this like interview where some news team or journalism team was like talking to these like Maori, like the indigenous people of New Zealand, and they were talking to this like Maori guy who was like an older guy, gray, wrinkle or whatever, and they were like, "How old are you? Like, do you know your age?" And he was like, "We do not know. I don't know how to do the accent." But he made
you were
a
telling
point.
me about this guy.
Yeah, he just was saying like, we don't really keep track of that in the bush. Like, you grow up in the tribe, and there's no like age or years or anything. It's just like, yeah, your hair start going gray, you get wrinkles and stuff like that. But he's like, I have no clue. And I was like, that sounds great. I would love if we had that instead of a social security card, and every website you go to asks you for your birthday. It's like, I don't even want to know my birthday. I don't want to know.
But they got to know if every winter comes. Excuse me. If every winter comes, they know it. But you're right. Maybe it's not as like it's a big of a deal or something.
There's no like just this hyper fixation on time. It's just like, we're just doing what we're doing. Whereas like
Yeah.
in the West, it's time is money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like
Billionaire.
we're
Billionaire podcast.
Billionaire Podcast Network. Ching, bing, 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 did he fill her up? But yeah, in the West, yeah, we're very obsessed with time. It's like every job is be here at 8 o'clock on the dot.
Mm-hmm.
In Bible times, they would have been like, "What is 8 o'clock? What does that mean?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. For sure. Like, especially down. Yeah, you're right. The time here is more meticulous, down to the seconds and yada yada yada, and or where you should be by certain ages and every point in your life, and then like the legalities of certain ages too, right? Like you can get a permit at 15, license at 16, adult by 18,
yeah,
cigarettes by
when did
21.
God create the age of consent?
Yeah. Yeah, no
Where
kidding.
is that chapter?
Well, I don't think it's for a while because I think they're taking them pretty young early on here in Genesis, but we have so much to get through. I
We
mean,
got a lot
it's
of
the
we got a lot
the holy Bible. One thing real quick that I'll say about age, and again, coming up very shortly in Genesis, they start introducing ages, and these ages are pretty up there, folks.
yeah, it's like
900, 800, 700s. I mean, they're pushing 1,000 years old, and then shortly after they start going down to normal time, ages, which I've always found interesting. And I've heard theories of why maybe that could be, but maybe they just had time wrong at first, or a different way of measuring it.
they measure time like Rugrats, where they're like, "I'm at 1100 years old."
Yeah, yeah, something. And God's like, no, not quite. That's not really what I meant by a year, but
Yeah,
who knows?
just don't even worry about it. Just worship me. Don't don't worry about
Yeah,
how old you are.
yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's weird,
I mean,
but
if a tick lands on you, you'll die anyway. There's no treatments for anything.
yeah, like
uh,
zero.
but so we got verse 11 here, and God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass." Ooh, you know what I mean? The herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day. So God, what is that? The third day God makes
Man,
all the plants.
so yeah, 3 days you have seas, clouds, land, oceans, and now green vegetation everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a bad. It's a big beautiful park. In 3 days, it's a big beautiful park on Earth.
Yeah, and this is also like the creation of like reproduction itself. That like the fruit bearing
Yeah,
tree and the seed is in itself, so the tree itself creates the fruit and the thing that makes the more trees and more fruit. So
well,
the
which is and this brings up an interesting idea because we haven't introduced sin, right? And when sin comes, which we'll get to, but to jump ahead real quick, that brings death and decay. So it's you wonder how things reproduce if there almost is no death. Like if something ripens too much, it falls off. Then the seed falls on the ground. But it's like if death maybe hasn't been introduced, was there already death, like death to man? Was there death to fruit, or was it just continuing to get more and more overly crowded with vegetation that won't die?
I don't know.
Isn't that interesting though? Like,
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good point. I mean, who?
it,
Yeah, I guess the yeah. Well, then that means the decay is part of it. Like you would need some amount of death and decay to get rid of some of the stuff to make room for more new stuff.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
because it's unless he knew he was going to make the animals next, and then uh, though they would eat some of it. He was preparing, I guess, for that day 4 or 5 coming up. But I don't know. That's always kind of been an interesting like thought to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's a good point. Yeah, if he's making the trees and the fruit and everything to reproduce, what's his plan? So it's built in that I guess they are going to like grow old and decay and die, the trees and the fruit and everything. So the reproduction is like part of it.
Yeah, so maybe that's not necessarily sin or affected by sin. That's just actually just the cycle,
Yeah, it's just nature.
just nature at that point. Because yeah, I guess it's not pain, right? Would that be
Yeah,
painful?
and the plants and everything, because sin only applies to like humans. So
Well, it does affect the earth though.
yeah, I mean, we'll get there. We you know
We will, we will.
we're only on the third day. We haven't
This is
even
what's so difficult. Yeah, so there's a lot going. There's so much.
and so yeah, we already touched on this verse, but and God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the night from the day, the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. I love that. I love that. It's like, hey, also the stars made them too.
Yeah, it took him a full day on plants, but all the stars of giant gases just kind of sprinkled that in at the end of a work day.
That is interesting. That this is coming from a place of like having no real understanding of the cosmos and like just seeing
Yeah,
the stars and being like insignificant, not as important as the sun and the moon. So
yeah,
it's like, yeah, he also did that. It's not a big deal. But it's like, no,
yeah,
you're talking about like galaxies and nebulas and black holes and like physics we still don't even understand.
yeah. That all came after the green grass.
Yeah, the green, yeah, yeah, he made apples first, and then also the stars. Don't even trip on the stars. This is,
Well, that's what's interesting too, because now if you look at where you were at 14 and then back at verse 3, now that means that light wasn't the sun because he made light on the first day, but on day 4, he makes the sun,
that's a good point.
you
It's a
know?
good point. So
So
light
that's
light
interesting.
was just pure energy in the first day. It was just there's light. And then what is this? The fourth day? We got the
That's the
sun
fourth day.
the sun and the moon.
Yeah, which so the plants had one day of being extremely, I guess, cold because there wasn't a sun yet, unless he just had light hovering over the plants for that good old uh what do they call that? Chlorophyll.
Yeah, the plants were like, man, I'm hungry.
Yeah,
The
we have
plants
no sun.
Yeah, that day before the sun, the plants were like, man, this is nice and all, but I'm hungry. I need some I need some ultraviolet.
Yeah, we got plenty of water. The firmament's working great. Great addition.
Yeah. So the 4 days, the sun and the moon, and like I said, the moon is not its own light source, so it's
Yeah,
reflecting the sun's light.
he didn't know that,
Yeah, we
but
didn't know that.
it is a light because he's not necessarily calling it a source. He's just saying it's a great light, which it is. It is a great
Yeah,
light.
yeah. The sun is the greater light, and the moon is a lesser light. So I mean, yeah, it's not really saying it's a light source. It's just two great lights. So I mean, yeah, I mean that's a good point. It's not necessarily making the distinction that these are two independent light sources. Just
Mm-hmm.
one is greater than the other. Um,
Hold on real quick too, because I want to go back to 14 again. Um, he let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens. So lights, he's making the stars, right? He's making the cosmos, and let them be for signs for the seasons. And we're getting to a little bit of astrology here for us. Yeah, a little
Oh
astrology.
yeah, I was wondering what that meant. And let them be for signs. Damn, are fat women right about astrology?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard to say. I
Was
mean,
that was
I
that
heard
is
it.
that a swear? Does the D word count as a swear?
Would you say?
Damn.
I don't know. I mean,
Heavenly Father,
I
please
think,
forgive me for my transgressions. Amen.
yeah, maybe not. It depends how you, maybe. Um, uh, I heard this idea of, the sun or the moon, uh, keeps the ocean's tides, in balance.
Same with
The
the
moon
menstrual
does.
cycle.
I mean, if your body's made of 80% water, what's to say that the cosmos doesn't have a pull on our, I don't know how God made everything in cohesion with each other, but maybe these astrology, maybe these long-haired armpitted ladies are onto something.
Maybe, yeah, they might be right. They do
Good.
seem as unhinged as they seem at times. They also seem pretty happy. Where it's like it's Libra season, you
Mm-hmm.
know. I wish I had that. To me, it's like it's just it's pain and despair. It's the same as every other season.
Yeah,
That's my astrology. More pain,
More-
more desolation, and degradation.
yeah. Well, yeah, you're right. They all always seem really happy and connected with the earth. And I'm like, man, they definitely seem spiritual, but also people acting more spiritual than they really are. There's no, they're definitely not new to that. So, I mean, there's plenty of Christians that are
But
like
that
that too, I
but
suppose. So,
that is an interesting point you make though in verse 14, and let them be for signs. So yeah, like charting the stars and using like the cosmos itself to like determine if you have autism or something.
yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah, signs and
I'm
for seasons, they know like, okay, we're on the back side of this, and it came around again. So he's kind of creating a time. He's kind of creating a calendar for us in the cosmos. Like, hey, so that way you can kind of know this is coming around again and what to expect. So I'm giving you routine almost. You
yeah.
know,
Yeah,
it's
I guess
interesting.
so. That's it. Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess like prior to this, like prior to Christianity, and or this would be Judaism, but I mean,
Yeah.
they're already. I mean, there did exist like sun worshiping like cultures that like
Hmm.
looked to just the sun and the stars themselves and worshiped those. So it's like I maybe like drawing from that and being like, no, don't like you're close.
Hmm.
There is divinity in these things, but you worship that which exists beyond even the sun and the stars, and that's
Well,
God.
it's
That's God,
worship the creator, not the creation,
right?
kind of thing. For sure. Well, too, it's interesting because like the Greeks too. I mean, think about all the constellations that they named and are after Greek gods and acted like maybe they were gods as like these little pictures in the sky, and but it's you wonder, God knew what signs people are going to put together. So before he made man, he knew that one day they're going to think this looks like Orion shooting a bow and arrow, you know. So maybe he put him like there for a reason. I mean, right? He didn't just do it for no reason.
No, there's a reason. There's a reason for everything. Um, and so where were we?
Like 16 or
In the evening and the morning were the fourth day. Or wait, where
yeah,
were?
yeah,
Okay,
20.
yeah. And God said, "Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, the fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven." And God created great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly, after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. So, God creates all the animals, but for some reason, it's the birds and the whales that really get the
Birds and
notoriety
fish.
here. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
we got
Let me
fowls and whales.
let me read mine my version on this one because it's slightly different. And God said, "Let the waters swarm with swarms of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the expanse of the heaven." So God created the great sea creatures and every living creature that moves, with which the waters swarm according to its kind, every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. So yeah, birds and fish.
Yeah.
Left the land bare, kind of, except for the birds who need to land, but birds and fish. Now this is, I thought, interesting because they say, even like scientists and archaeologists, that birds were the first dinosaurs, kind of, right? Or like some of the oldest like dinosaurs that still maybe could live. I've heard that theory from dino experts. And then there's also the idea that evolutionary organisms started in water and fish, and then fish somehow got on land, and as far as an evolution. So I do think it's interesting that even back so far ago, Moses, in the order of which God created things, it was birds and fish before we get land animals.
Yeah, well, it's I mean, if it's the same, I guess, like metaphorically, it's the same as like the sea and the firmament and like what he created earlier, where it's like what we're focusing on right now. We got the water and we got the sky. Just take care of that first. So there's the birds and the whales, and it's the same as like on day what 2 or 3, where he was like, all right, we got the sea and the firmament, and then the land, and
And
it's
then
the
lands after.
yeah, and so it's the same here because like if you when we go on into the next verses, we'll go ahead and read them here. And God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth." And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind." And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. Yeah, so it's the same as like when he created the earth itself, where
Same order.
yeah, it's like the sea and then the sky, the firmament, and then land to the dry land. And so when
Yeah.
he's creating all the creatures, all the animals and such, it's the fourth. Wait, what was it? Um, yeah. So the fifth. Yeah. So the fifth day, it's the waters create the moving creature that hath life, and then the fowl, the birds. And it even
Mm.
says here, "in fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven." So yeah, it's the same sort of
Mm.
thing. He's doing the sea and then the sky.
Well, it's interesting too that he takes that break. And man, this is wild. I've never thought about this. He takes a break from creating the earth, the nature, right, to then create the cosmos and the sun and the moon, right? So then the sun then clearly warms up the earth,
Yeah,
then creating the first living creatures, which could evolve from bacteria in the ocean, creating, because it's warming things up, creating algae, you know what I mean, kind of thing. Now it's creating things that are getting dirty, maybe creating organisms, microorganisms, bacteria, things getting bigger, fish are coming, and then, you know, I don't know how the rest of it goes,
I don't like this evolution nonsense that you're bringing in here. I don't. That's Satan right there. That's.
Well, the only reason I think about it is because it's like, it's hard to say maybe how God did, because I can't think that it's a snap of the fingers, I mean, you know, just seems difficult to say,
You don't think God was
obviously
Thanos?
just zap.
You don't think God had the Infinity Gauntlet?
Zapping stuff alive.
Yeah.
But don't you think it's interesting that he takes a whole day in between? He's literally just starting to get like cracking on the earth. He's like, all right, now let's get plants going. And then he's like, oh wait, all right, hold on. I need a whole day to get the cosmos in order before I bring creatures into play.
Well, yeah. You don't want to create all the animals without there being a sun and
Yeah.
any way to sustain this life.
But the plants were there before.
The plants, yeah, but I think plants can subsist, at least like primordial plants, like early versions of plants and stuff could subsist on just like oxid or carbon dioxide.
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Look,
And there was still light.
that's science. This ain't science. This is the divine, so this is beyond us.
Yeah, this is true. This is
But
true.
what is interesting also is that he creates the plants and then after the plants makes the whole cosmos, and then after that does the fish and the birds. So he's working on the animals now, the creatures and everything, and the fish and birds take up a whole day. That's the fifth day, and then the sixth day, in which ends the first chapter, is everything else. So it's like the fish and birds get their day, and then the sixth day we start on the cows and the creepy crawlers, and all of that. And that's verses 24 and 25 of chapter 1, and then when we go on to 26, this is where it gets good.
This is what divides churches right here. Immediately this divides. This is where it gets very interesting.
Yeah, this is where we get into Schwarzenegger, the sixth day. And God said, "Let us." I wonder what that
right
means.
There.
God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness." Who's he talking about?
That's the Trinity, baby.
You think so?
I mean, this is what divides churches. Just that one little line. Is it a Godhead 3 in 1, or is he talking to the angels? Because we're not made in angels' image.
No,
we're made in the image of God.
No, like, have you seen those pictures of like biblically accurate angels? It's just a bunch of eyeballs and wings. Yeah. Scary.
They look crazy. Yeah, they don't look cute at all. They're not like chubby babies.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, I want the chubby babies. I don't want big eyeball monsters.
Yeah,
give me naked chubby babies with bows and arrows.
It's adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is. I mean, I take it to mean that there is again, if I'm looking at this like it's the first time I've ever read this, and God, it sounds like there's more than one God. Immediately, I mean, right? That's your only conclusion. Let us make man in our image.
Well,
so
I mean,
how many gods are there?
If he's been alone, if he's by himself for all of eternity up until this point, maybe he's just like schizophrenic. He's
he's alone.
Yeah, he's just having conversations with himself.
Yeah, God's talking to himself again.
Yeah, guys, he's just in a padded room.
Or, I mean, I think if we're going a little further, actually, keep going to 27.
Okay, and after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Pronouns.
Oh, what kind of Bible is that again?
King James.
That's the LGBT
Yeah.
Bible.
Yeah, I got the woke Bible. Created he him, male and female created he them. Uh
So created he them. Yeah, that's a
yeah.
weird way the King James puts it like that. But yeah, mine just says, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. So
Well, I mean, I do like that it does specify, even if the wording can be a little confusing, there is definitely a distinction here that there's only two genders, male and female.
yeah, that's, there it is. This is very divisive
Mm-hmm.
topic as well. Absolutely. Uh, yep, he created female and male. But going back to let us make man in our image and our likeness, let us, that plurality that God's using here. So we're trying to find out if he's schizophrenic or if there's multiple gods, right? And so, but in 27, if he's making man in his own image, male and female, he created them both in his image. Does that mean
Oh,
there is
maybe this
a
gets
masculine or feminine God?
we're getting back into fat lady territory where it's like there's
Yeah,
masculine and feminine energies.
duality, perhaps. Perhaps, I don't know.
Maybe, or
So
maybe it's like a Dr. Manhattan thing where you like in Watchmen, where Dr. Manhattan can turn into like a bunch of Dr. Manhattans.
yes,
So it's
yes,
like God is just turning into a bunch of different gods, multiple gods, and he's like, "Good job, us."
yeah. Because he does get lonely. He's like, it'd be cool to like hang out with more me's.
Yeah, yeah. These angels are what a drag. These angels are.
Yeah,
They agree with everything I do. And it's like
yeah,
I need I need some challenge in my life. I need
yeah. They never argue.
yeah. Uh,
Which is interesting too, that it never gets into the creation of angels, or even if, well, actually it hasn't even introduced angels, so we shouldn't even really
yeah,
open that bag of worms.
I think that comes later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess that is like presumably if got there's a heaven at this point, then there are angels who are like I guess present and observing this and being like, man, what is God doing? What is
Yeah,
this?
this is wild.
We had a
He's
good
making this
thing
whole other
going.
universe. Yeah, yeah. We don't need to do all this.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, it is interesting.
yeah, that's one of the funny scenes, and I didn't really care for the season that much, but the second season of Good Omens when they're doing the like creation flashback,
Hmm.
the two main characters when they're both angels before one of them becomes a demon, uh one of the angels is telling the other one like yeah, God's making everything and um we're gonna serve Earth, and the other one's like, what is Earth, what are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, like way over there, uh all of this is for Earth. And then the other angel is like, he's doing like all of this and just for that like one little place over there.
Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be trippy for them to watch and see, if because they would be having, I don't know if they question. Do angels question? I
well
mean,
that's what I think, and we'll probably get to that later in Genesis, but I mean that's what led to the war and the fall, was like the angels who did question anything were cast out. And so that's like, and that's where you get into like, if you ever read Paradise Lost by John Milton, that's why it's like in that story Lucifer is kind of portrayed as a more like sympathetic character, because like his only crime was asking God like, hey, why are you doing this? I thought we were cool, man. And
hmm.
then God's like, well, you bye, leave, you're out of heaven now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but the ones who questioned it, because God's infallible, so everything he does is perfect and the right thing to do. So if anybody like questions it, that's the angels that were cast out and turned into demons.
Well, let me ask you. Let me make an interesting proposal or thought. I'm not saying even I believe this, or I just kind of was thinking about it just now. But earlier he makes light and day, and he calls the light day and the dark night. He says the light was good. He doesn't say the night is bad. He just doesn't say anything about the night. He just made night.
Yeah.
Doesn't say it's bad though. What if this is before the fall of Satan or Lucifer? And what if he's talking to Lucifer, the duality of good and evil? Let us make man in our image. The challenge, the pushback within ourselves. What if that's the us? What if that's the plurality? You like that?
Maybe. Yeah, the duality, Slipknot.
Yeah. I think Slipknot. I think he's making Slipknot in verse 26.
He's making Slipknot. He's like, now we're gonna create Des Moines.
Specifically Iowa.
Yeah, I'm really focused on Iowa because I want. I need volume 3 of the Subliminal Verses to come out.
This is going to take a whole day.
Yeah, a whole day on Des Moines. Yeah, the eighth day was the creation of Iowa.
Yeah. He needed a big rest.
Yeah, and so so that's do we read 28? We got
No.
and God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. Wait, what? No, it's trees. It's plants.
Well, for my translation says for food, but I know the King James says for meat.
You talking about the Impossible Burger?
Yes. Yeah. Dude, you have a woke Bible, dude.
Dude, I have a woke Bible, dude. He, him, they, them. Meat.
Calling plants meat.
Plant-based meat. I mean, what is going on?
Veggie patties.
Oh, you know what though? That is interesting because isn't one of the brands of like one of the brands of like veggie like burgers and stuff like plant meats is Morningstar. And
I've never heard that.
Yeah, it's like Morningstar. Let me look it up. Morningstar plant based. Yeah, Morningstar Farms, veggie and vegan plant-based foods. And so that's it.
Oh wow.
That's something to take into consideration there, because what else is the Morningstar? Lucifer. Right? Lucifer Morningstar.
Yeah.
Oh no, that might just be his name in the Neil Gaiman comic book.
Well, I think it makes a reference to that somewhere, even in Psalms or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, so yeah, something like that. So the Morningstar vegan meats and Lucifer, connect the dots, folks.
Yeah, come on, folks.
Yeah.
You not see what's going on here? This is a conspiracy.
Yeah, to you it shall be for meat. Well, I mean, I guess that makes sense because like the animals got to eat, the grass and the plants and stuff, and so the livestock eats the plants, and then you slaughter the livestock, and there's your meat. So I don't think he's talking about veggie burgers. It's like,
well, but he doesn't say, because again, mine says for food, and he's only talking about plants. So maybe
does yours say food?
Mine says food, but I know King James says meat, but maybe it's also meaning like meat on your bones.
Well, I know that like with fruit, that in fruit they do call the like actual what you eat in fruit like the meat, like
the meat of the fruit. Yeah, because there's also like heart of palm. That's an ingredient. That's just the inside of the palm, but they call it the heart. So that is a fleshly kind of thing.
Yeah. So, what are you eating? Oh,
Little salted dark chocolate caramel things. God, they're good.
Those are good.
Your God made these on the 12th day.
Yeah. Yeah, that was God's cheat day. When he made
I deserve
dark chocolate.
Yeah.
Been working so hard on making the universe. I deserve a little treat.
Mrs. God sure isn't whipping anything else, so I need a snack.
Yeah, what pre-workout do you think God uses? What do you think his macros are?
Oh man, some divine jacks.
And so we go to verse. We got 2 verses left. Verse 30 here. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. So yeah, there you go. That's what I said. They got to eat the plants.
Yeah, the plant.
Mm-hmm. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. So up until that line, so it was just good. It was good. Now it's very good.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too.
And the evening and the morning were the 6th day. So that's chapter 1. That's the first 6.
Not even a week.
Not even a week. There's just the first 6 days of all creation. The first book of Moses called Genesis. That was chapter 1. Yeah,
and it was very good.
It was very good. The 6th day was very good.
Which again, that is going back to like the old, the old dad man in the neighborhood doing house projects. When it's finally all done, you're like, that looks freaking awesome. Look at that deck.
Yeah, It's like, this is very good. I'm behold my.
Check this out. Now it's time for resting. Now we're going to get that pack of Marlboros, get a pack of Bush.
Yeah. Behold my
night.
Custom cornhole.
Yeah. My polished Dallas Cowboys cornhole set.
Behold my custom beer pong table, and it was very good.
It was very good, dude.
Yeah. So yeah, so the chapter 1 wraps up with the 6th day, and God lays out the ground. Humans, welcome to Earth.
Yeah,
he hits him with that Will Smith. He's like, welcome to Earth, and he's like, yeah, and so
God mode, just like boom, Earth's done, creation's done, cosmos are done, perfect harmony. It's great.
Yeah, and so he lets us know that, okay, so here's the plants. You can eat these, and you have dominion over all the animals. And guess what? They can also eat the plants. But hold on, there's more. You could eat the animals too. The plants.
He doesn't say that.
Yeah, he does. Hold on. Let me open it back up. Yeah, it says, into every beast of the earth and every fowl of the air and everything that creepeth upon the earth wherein there is life, I've given every green herb for meat, and it was so. Wait. Hold on. Be fruitful, multiply. Replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. I mean, dominion.
Yeah, we have dominion, but he only gives us permission to eat herbs. So I've always taken it as they're vegan up until now.
You think so?
Maybe pescatarian, but I don't know. I don't even think so. I think it just seems like he's. Well, hold on. What does it say about the?
What do you think? What do you think God? How do you think God feels about seed oils?
Seed oils, like
like canola oil and coconut oil. You know what they put in.
Probably pretty good. I think he feels good about that.
That's a big point of contention nowadays amongst different health gurus, like that guy Andrew Saladino, MD, just goes into they say it's bad for you. Like a lot of these like carnivore diet kind of guys, they go into like a Trader Joe's and they hold up a box of like granola bars and they're like, these are full of seed oils. And they're like, seed oils are bad for you. And he says a bunch of science words that nobody understands and
Hmm.
is like, you should be eating, like a cow's liver and testicles.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
Seed oil, weird. I wonder why. I mean, I'm sure anything in too much, you got to have it on moderation. But
yeah, I don't
but
know. Well, I
I don't know
mean,
though. I don't know if he's saying we can eat the animals. He's saying we have dominion or rule over
yeah,
them. I don't
yeah,
know
well,
that they're keeping them as pets, but maybe we at least can claim our territory wherever we want
yeah, I
over the
don't
animals.
know. See, and there's no processed food at this time, so I don't think anybody knew anything about seed oils or any of that. So yeah, I mean everything that everybody's eating is either plants or like maybe animals. I mean I don't know. It's implied that if we have dominion over the fish of the sea and the fowl of the air and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth, that gives us license to eat them. But maybe not. Maybe it's just like,
Hmm.
hey, be friends with the it's like you are you're the masters over these things, but don't go hurting them now. So maybe
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking because he says later.
he certainly didn't say put all the pigs in cages in a warehouse.
Mass
Don't
produce and mass genocide chickens.
Yeah, he didn't say grind the beaks off the chickens at the factory farm.
No, he didn't. He didn't say that, but he did say every beast of the earth, every bird of the heavens, everything that creeps on the ground, everything that has the breath of life. I have given every green plant for food. So I would think that would include us. Everything that has the breath of life, I've given every green plant for food.
Yeah, I
So
wonder
yeah,
about that.
it feels vegan to me.
I think there are people that interpret the Bible in that way, that it's like they read it and interpret it as like you should be vegan.
Yeah, that's kind of
Um,
well until later, obviously, when Jesus he then says meat is clean to eat, but
I don't
it feels
know.
like up until now, I don't know either. It's hard to say.
I've never really tried a plant-based diet. I'm not against it. Like
I would, that would suck.
yeah, because we've been
I
eating
love
meat.
steak.
We've been eating meat our whole lives, but maybe it is like closer to God to just stick with like salads and uh
Yeah,
sprouts.
we're not contributing to the death of creatures with the breath of life. That's interesting. We didn't talk about that actually at all because it's going to get into the breath of life in the next chapter when it goes into detail of the sixth day in creating man. But right there, that's like a little foreshadow. Everything that has the breath of life, what's that? You know?
Yeah. Does that include like tardigrades?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Volcanoes kind of taking some toots here and there.
Yeah. Yeah, like microscopic. Yeah, I mean, well, they had no knowledge of microorganisms at this time, which I think don't need breath. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's nothing that specifies like that you should hunt and kill and eat these things. But that's this is all like prior to the original sin and all that. So I mean, like maybe like at this point the plan is just eat the fruits and the vegetables and chill out, and
Yeah,
hang out with the animals, take them for walks, and then when it gets hard scrabble, that's when it's like, okay, time to make weapons to
yeah,
slaughter these things. Um,
we're getting huge as a population. We need more food.
yeah. Um, so yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Yeah, it doesn't really say to hunt and kill and make jerky or anything like that.
Yeah, subdue them. That's weird. Well, that almost feels like capture,
Yeah.
but
Well,
maybe
I
it
mean,
just
I think
means it.
like farm, like you have, do farming because it's like the
Mm,
animals. If you think of the animals as like, um, livestock or even like tools that we could use, is yeah, like cow and goats and all that serve their purpose, like as
mm,
they eat the grass and keep everything like at some sort of equilibrium in that regard. They
yeah.
they they take duties and fertilize the land.
Hmm. You can also use a mule to pull a cart.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, it's I mean, honestly, what God is saying is like, treat these like Pokemon.
you got to
Like
catch them all.
these are Pokemon. Like these are your friends. You could train them, but these are your buddies.
Mm.
So don't go killing the Pikachu's.
Yeah, yeah. Treat them good. These are gifts. I mean,
Hmm.
carrier pigeons. You can train this thing to carry a message for you. That's pretty tight.
Yeah, you could teach it fly and fly to the next town with your Pidgeotto.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's pretty rad.
yeah, that's
You know,
cool. So yeah,
well,
that's that.
dogs.
Yeah, that's how that's a good way to interpret it. Is God made Pokemon, and that
Yeah,
was that was originally our relationship with animals was like, you can subdue them, train them to do your work and bidding, and uh even have them wrestle with other animals, but don't go slaughtering them, don't go hurting
yeah.
them.
Treat them good.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah,
that's what
like
the
little
that's what the
buddies.
song says. Ooh, you're my best friend. Together
Yeah.
to the end. Pokemon.
Yeah. Pokemon. Yeah, Pokemon. Yeah, well, and you can just play with them. I mean, like you can just play with a dog. You teach it fetch, and it can
Dude,
go
you could
grab stuff for
you
you.
could play with so many animals. You can hang out. You
Yeah,
can play with a horse, a
and go
cow.
ride on a horse. Go
You can
ride. Go.
ride
You
a
can go
horse.
further. You can go
Yeah,
super far, a lot faster on that horse if you're good to the horse.
yeah. You could train a falcon to do tricks and come back, and yeah, all kinds of things you could do with animals besides eat them.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's
Yeah,
pretty cool. I like that.
but we chose to put them up in cages. Put a pig in a cage that's barely bigger than it is
Yeah,
its
yeah.
entire
Not the
life.
kindest.
Dude, those videos make me. Dude, I don't even want to eat pigs when I see those videos of what those factory farms look like.
Dude, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, because the pigs have such like human eyes. Like when they bring the camera and it shows the pig's face, and you could see the look in its eyes of just like, please
Terror.
just kill me.
Yeah.
It's the pig is so sad, and I'm like, man, I don't really want to eat pork at this point. Uh, I
I
don't
know. I
really
just had so much pork over the weekend.
I don't really eat much pork these days. If I'm thinking about it, I think I had some Black Forest ham the other day, so I guess that counts. But
A
I've
little bit.
mostly been eating like beef and chicken.
Yeah.
Um,
It's hard to turn away from. I
the
get it. It's
the
good.
cattle and the fowl.
Yeah, yeah. But
Um,
yeah, yeah, I don't know, man. It's weird. I mean, living perfectly is so difficult, as we'll soon find out in Genesis 2.
oh man, yeah, that and everybody, you'll have to tune in next week for Genesis 2. That's the creation of man, the Garden of Eden. Uh, but
Exciting chapter coming up here.
oh
Um,
man,
but
but
it's
yeah,
still man and woman coming up,
oh
still before the fall. So it's still in harmony.
yep. But we and so there is this. Yeah. I have given every green herb for meat, and it was so. Uh, so there, green herbs. I guess we didn't know about like turmeric or anything yet. And so we end on verse 31, and God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. So that's the creation of everything. 6 days, record time. Nobody's
Pretty quick.
beaten that yet. In terms
So
of
I've heard this question brought up a lot growing up in church. I want to know your thoughts personally. Do you think it's an actual 6-day window, or do you think it was more like a God, what's a day like to God kind of thing? I mean, did it take billions of years, or are you taking it as a literal day, as a lot of Christians do?
I mean, if you want me to use my rational, secular brain here, my sinful mind, I think
you heathen.
Yeah, I think it's just like an interpretation that like Moses and the people that put the Bible together and all that were just like coming up with some way to contextualize this message. And so there's no way to like wrap your head around uh infinity and like the existence of like time before time, that maybe the creation, like what it took to create everything. So it's like just a literary device to be like, the first day was this, second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day. Just putting it in a way that we can understand. When what really probably happened was, I don't know, billions of years that led up to this. But that's still, I mean, even then, like, to put it in those terms, that's just based on like our understanding of time. So there's no concept of billions of years until we have the idea of what we think time is.
Yeah, once we start getting telescopes, then we started understanding billions of years, that number.
Yeah, but even then, that's still like you're getting into like observation, like the act of observing, shit, like shaping and changing that which is observed. So it's like these concepts like only exist through our observation. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
it's like, if a tree falls in a forest, no one's around to hear it, doesn't make a sound. It's like that idea where it's like the observer has to be observing the thing for it to be observed. Otherwise, it's beyond us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know what we don't know.
Exactly. And so that gets into the sort of like the physics and philosophical conundrum of like does the act of observation change that which is being observed? Like a watched pot never boils, sort of thing.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and there's like actual like scientific theories on that, like the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Like I'm too stupid to really know what I'm talking about here, but like the idea of like trying to understand something at a subatomic level, but once you're like actually looking at it and observing it, it's different than it was at that point. Like what you're observing is like different than when it's unobserved. If that makes any sense.
I see. So you couldn't even study it if you wanted to.
Yeah, it's like difficult to like really get like concrete information down on stuff like this, because the mere act of observation changes the behavior of that which is being observed. And so that's I think that's sort of what we're dealing with here, is just like we're observing and trying to interpret the creation of all infinity, but we can't possibly understand infinity. It doesn't make any sense. So it's like, what makes sense is days of being like, the first day up through, the 6 days it took to create everything, and then the seventh day he rested. But God, I don't think God concerns himself with days and seconds and hours.
Well, I do think it's interesting that you brought up, I know it's verse 1 of chapter 2, but God resting on a seventh day, because it's that starts getting into now law, the law of Moses. It's taking the holy day, Sabbath day, to be recognized. It's immediately, like in chapter 2, we're getting into doctrine a little bit, or more like religious law.
Yeah.
So it's almost like maybe as Moses is setting this up for his congregation to start implementing like examples of laws that they should follow as a people, because he's out there writing this in the wilderness to give us people some sort of law to all go by in the uniform. And he starts now giving examples how, let's see, this is what God did. He took a rest day, so we're all going to have a day off. Like,
Yeah.
it's important to have it. I just find that kind of interesting. So it's like maybe he's setting that up as a way to pass a little bit of law through the story.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. Because it's different because in Judaism, the day of rest, the Sabbath is what, Saturday? And then for us, for the Gentiles, it's Sunday. So
Yeah,
we can't even get the time right. We don't even know what the calendar is on this.
Yeah, we have no clue, and who knows what their calendar looked like.
Yeah,
really, like all those years ago.
Yeah, but it's the creation of everything is it's a tricky thing. It's tricky
Yes,
to.
very tricky. And they say too, I don't know if you've got footnotes in your Bible about this, but from what I've heard, is that the Moses times, so when this was written, was maybe roughly around 4,000 years ago. Is that right? Is that what you have heard?
When it was written,
Yeah.
maybe. Okay, yeah, because I thought you were I thought you were referencing like because we had these people come to our church at one point that were trying to tell us that all creation itself, like the earth and everything, was like only 4,000 years old.
Oh yeah, no, not
There's
that.
like
No,
that
that this is
idea.
written.
Maybe, yeah. I like
That's kind of what I've heard, but I
um
don't know how accurate that
yeah,
is.
I have no clue. I mean, this is all I don't that would be something interesting to get into, is like the actual history of like what the Bible itself is, and when it was written
Yeah.
and who put it together, because I don't they don't like when you go to church, yeah, they don't give you like the history of the book itself. You're just studying the text, but
Mm-hmm.
they don't really touch on like what it is and like why
Well,
this
this,
is, you know.
yeah, yeah, well, yeah. Why it is the way it is. I mean, sometimes in some Bibles they will have like things like that. I was trying to look in my early pages of my Bible, like before they actually get started,
Because
like the
I
preface, to see if it had anything.
Yeah, because I mean I do remember being a kid and going like my pastor did briefly mention like the Council of Nicaea at one point, and like the
Mm-hmm.
way they canonized the books of the Bible. And it just kind of like broke my brain at that time, because I was like, wait, you're telling me that there's just like some guys who got together and were like, all right, this is what the Bible's going to be, and that's what we're like. It's not even like the book itself was assembled by any sort of like divine uh anything. It was just like a group of guys who were like deciding what this religion was going to look like what the text would be. And that's why it's interesting. Like what I have actually has all the other stuff too from that time, the Apocrypha.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
but the actual text itself is just the 66 books that I guess like a bunch of guys in like fancy robes or whatever were
Mm-hmm.
we're like, all right, so what is Christianity? What are these people gonna be reading every Sunday
Yeah.
after, you know what are the fat guys in button downs and khakis gonna be looking at?
Yeah,
Uh
and that's the book I was raised on too. Is those the original 66 that you're
yeah,
talking about?
pick up sticks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a we're definitely we chose uh a very controversial book to go through.
For sure. But it's the good book.
It's a good
It's
book.
the good. It was good. It was very good.
It was very good. It's a very good book.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this. Like I think it's fun and actually kind of yeah, it's fulfilling to go through it in this way, to actually like break it down like this as sort of a return to that which we were raised in, and
Yeah,
the sort of
man, it's cool to like bounce off the ideas that maybe both of us grew up with, hearing about certain of these things, because like some things I can recall, like I remember my church's stance on some of this stuff, like going back to the whole make man in our image and our likeness. My church's interpretation of that was like that's proof of the Trinity. That's Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and like so that was always like what I was told that was, growing up.
yeah, that's why it's like such a complicated text, because there's no other, like if you take a literature class in college and you're studying a book, whatever the, like if you're reading The Great Gatsby, it at no point is anything to be like, there's no like objective interpretation, even what the author says it's about. Like there's still a lot of literature is up to the like subjective interpretation of the reader,
Mm-hmm.
and how they're like perceiving this story. But the Bible, definitely with a lot of churches, especially like fundamentalism and all that, will tell you that like every sentence is to be taken
Yeah.
literally to some degree. And then there's other
Mm-hmm.
churches that try to tell you, and this is kind of where I come from, and like what I, where my views are, is really the message itself is what's important, not like trying to understand like the literal interpretations of this and stuff like that. Rather, it's rather just like what is the actual, what's the message here, like what's being said.
Yeah.
The
Mine was
subtext.
my church was very much growing up was very much the latter, or not the former. I mean, the which was take it literal as possible. I mean, my church was definitely a Calvinist on that sense of to where they believed one of the Calvinist points, which is
My church was
the
a Hobbesist.
a Hobbesist.
Yeah, you were a Calvinist and we were
Yeah,
Hobbesists.
yeah, yeah.
Calvinists and Hobbesists.
I don't know. I guess the
Calvin and
differences.
Hobbes.
Yeah. Oh, I see. I see. No, because you guys were probably Calvinists at some point, but I remember there's also like 5-point Calvinists and then there's 7-point Calvinists. So there's like even different
Well,
Calvinists,
the
like
problem
sects.
the problem with like any sort of literal interpretation of the book is like you're going to run into so many inconsistencies, and like
Oh yeah, I mean throughout the whole thing.
yeah, and like this flip flop back and forth between like what's being like it's not a consistent book at all. So like trying to interpret it literally, you're gonna, yeah, you're just gonna run into like too many problems that way. um and so that's why it's like I think the message is what's important to me, is just like divinity and grace, love,
Yeah,
kindness, forgiveness.
yeah. I
And
think that
that's,
should be the focus, truly. But yeah, they told us that the Bible was the infallible word of God and that it should be taken literal. That it was breathed and inspired from the Holy Spirit into man. But yeah, I've gotten a little further away from that on a personal level. But
yeah, I mean even then, like what we're reading here, the first book of Moses, that's not even like the Christian Bible. This is
no, no.
so this is like,
It's literally the Torah.
yeah, so I mean it's a long ways off, but like when you get into the New Testament, what us blessed boys were raised with,
Yeah.
the New Testament kind of like, reworks everything, and does like a clean slate on all this, whereas like don't even worry about, all that, up till this point. This is
Hmm.
like, you know we're pushing the reset button on the N64 here.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I'm liking it too, like this, because it's making it interesting. And again, it's been a while since I've gone through this thing. Well, to be truly honest, I haven't read every page of this Bible. I've read quite a bit.
No,
But there are
there's so
some of
that's another thing with doing this is like there's so few people who like go to church and make it such a big part of their lives that have even read the book.
right.
Like,
Crazy.
yeah, like you've devoted your entire life and belief system to this one text, which you haven't actually taken the time to read all the way through.
Yeah.
To the point where there's like this entire separate industry that exists to just try and get people to finish reading the Bible.
Yeah.
That there's like you read the Bible in a year or what,
Yeah.
whatever. Like you go into a Christian bookstore and there's a whole section on like, are you dumb and lazy? Can you not? Are you having trouble reading this one book?
They even have, I've seen like 3-year and 5-year Bible plan reading ones, because they're like, all right, if you read like just this much every day, you know what I mean, kind of thing. So it's funny you said that. When we get to the New Testament, it's like that'll be, well, I guess in 5 years when we get to the New Testament, we get
Yeah, if we're gonna go through it this way, it'll be quite a while. But hey,
well, we could do
that's money, baby. Keep this going.
Is true too.
You know,
That's true. Yeah, finishing in a year, maybe if you did do it over a span of 5 years, if we broke it down to 5 years, that'd be a good pace, maybe for some getting into a little more than one chapter a day or something. It just depends, because like in Psalms, there's chapters that are like that big at a time. It's like chapter 145, chapter 146.
Yeah, but Psalms is one of the more like literary books, so you could have a field day with those.
This is true. This is true.
Poetry right there.
Yeah, truly.
But I'm enjoying this so far. This is good.
Yeah, dude, it's good to spend Sunday in church with you, brother.
This is good, dude. It's perfect. I'm definitely gonna convert this. Now I'm gonna convert the file, and then we're gonna convert the audience to to join our congregation, to shepherd our flock.
Yeah. Some more brothers for the Billionaire Bible Boys Blessed Banquet. Baptist.
The Blessed Baptist Billionaire Bible Boys Banquet Bonanza. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I was laughing. I was trying to honestly just rip off. Did you see that in Gemstones this season?
No, I haven't watched it.
Oh, there's the really funny running joke where Uncle Baby Billy is trying to create like a Family Feud style game show for the network. And he calls it Baby Billy's Bible Bonkers. And so he goes to pitch it to them, and they're like, Baby Billy, and he goes, Baby Billy's Bible Bonkers. And so the whole season is just moments where they're all just characters going, Baby Billy's Bible Bonkers.
This ridiculous title for this show.
Yeah, so like when I was coming up with the name for this show, I was like, how many B's can I put into this?
Yeah. No, it's appropriate for the Bible being the focus, which I'm excited we're doing it too, man. Like I said, I don't think it's gonna hurt me if I start cracking this thing open a little bit more,
No,
so
it'll save you, dude. That's what it's for, dude.
That's what it's supposed to, that's what it claims.
Yeah. And so that was Genesis 1, and next week we're getting into the Garden of Eden with Genesis 2.
Big stuff.
Yeah. And do you have anything you want to plug?
Check out Coldplay 2 on Instagram. Follow Coldplay 2 band at Coldplay 2 band. It's a lot of fun. We had a show last night, man. It was so fun, dude. And other than that, that's it, man. Just stay up, stay real, say your prayers, love thy neighbor.
Should we end on a prayer?
Dude, I'm living on a prayer, dude.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, let's go ahead and end on a prayer. Everybody, bow your heads.
Yeah, I like that. All right.
Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us here on this most blessed day, for it was not promised to us. We thank you for your divine grace and for continuing to shower us with blessings and love and light and hope in this world. I know times seem tough and dark right now in the world, but we know that all things are possible through you and your Son Jesus Christ. And we know that salvation lies with you, Lord. So we say thank you for creating everything and for giving us the breath of life and dominion over all the animals, and for putting food on our plates and water in our giving us water to drink. We thank you for life, God. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Oh man, what a prayer. Yeah, man, I don't think we've done that since doing acid in New York.
Yeah. Oh man. Also, patreon.com/cornfield with Dalton Pro. Subscribe to Patreon for the premium content.
Yeah. Billionaire Podcast Network, fill it up.
Yeah, the Billionaire Podcast Network. Ka-ching, ming, 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 did fill her up. Yeah, that's where we get into Joel Osteen territories. Do a prayer and then ask for money.
And then that's for money. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, hey, he's doing it.
The Patreon. Hey, think of the Patreon as the collection plate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's perfect.
We gotta keep the lights on here. I mean, God said, "Let there be light." He didn't say be free.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. We got to work. We'll get into that then in chapter 3 about working.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, and I've lived quite the life of sin in that regard. Dealing with my own issues.
Yeah.
But well, this is we're putting in the work here.
You're doing it.
Yeah. So thanks everybody for joining us on this fine Sunday. Sitting down in the pew and reading the Word of God with us.
Yeah, good day.
Yeah. So next week, Genesis 2. Till next time. Be blessed. Be thankful. Find grace. My flock. My congregation. Seek salvation with the Lord. And thank you. I love you, everyone. Amen.
Amen.
I have a friend divine walking with me, making my pathway shine, mighty is he. Jesus, the one I love, gladly I sing. Praises to him above, he is my King. He's my King and reigns forevermore. I love him. He's my King to worship and adore. Oh, I dearly love him. There is none above him. Wonderful is he, this mighty King of glory. He's my King. Let all the world proclaim it loudly. He's my King of royal holy fame. When I get to glory, I will sing the story of his love for me. I have a Savior dear talking with me. He is so very near, seems I can see. Over life's rugged way, to him I cling. He is my guide and stay, Jesus my King. He's my King and reigns forevermore. I love him. He's my King to worship and adore. Oh, I dearly love him. There is none above him. Wonderful is he, this mighty King of glory. He's my King. Let all the world proclaim it loudly. He's my King of royal holy fame. When I get to glory, I will sing the story of his love for me. I have the Holy Ghost living in me. He is my royal host, faithful is he, filling me with his love so I may sing praises to Christ above. He is my King. He's my King and reigns forevermore. I love him. He's my King to worship and adore. Oh, I dearly love him. There is none above him. Wonderful is he, this mighty King of glory. He's my King, let all the world proclaim it loudly. He's my King of royal holy fame. When I get to glory, I will sing the story of his love for me.